Hello, everyone. Hi, good morning, everyone. So let's start with today's session. Today is 23rd of June 2026, and we'll start with the first news headline for the day. Now, again, this has become quite a trend now, and again, a very unfortunate incident has taken place in Lucknow, where a fire broke out at a coaching institute, killing 15 individuals. So I mean, this has we have been following this particular pattern for past 2 to 3 days. Yesterday, we saw a case of ammonia gas leak at a facility in Tamil Nadu, and today it is about a fire incident where 15 individuals have lost their lives. Condolences, my deepest condolence to the families of all those individuals who have lost their lives. But students, again, there is nothing relevant from the academics perspective, so we will not discuss this particular news in detail. But these kids were very young. They were supposed to have a very beautiful and a very joyful life, but they couldn't achieve so because of this particular unfortunate incident. Now, Great Britain, so this is also a common pattern for Great Britain, that past four prime ministers were not able to complete their tenure, and in the latest development, Mr. Keir Starmer, जिनको रिसेंटली हम लोगों ने देखा था अभी G7 समिट में, he was he was smiling a lot, he was with the Indian Prime Minister, and now he has resigned. And in last, after Brexit successfully took place on 31st of January 2020, when Great Britain finally exited the bloc European Union, तब से लेकर के अब तक Keir Starmer became the fourth prime minister who has resigned from the post. Before him, it was Rishi Sunak. Then initially it was Boris Johnson, then Liza Truss, then Rishi Sunak, and finally Keir Starmer. So there was a lot of in party protest against Mr. Stammer. He took a lot of, irrelevant calls, like, uh, you know, political appointments that he made were under a lot of scrutiny. And because of that, a lot of individuals from his political party, Labour Party, protested against his continuation in the office, right? So he has to resign from the office, and, Andy Burnham, and Andy Burnham is expected to become the next prime minister of Great Britain, right? So इनकी political party का नाम याद रखिएगा. His political party is very relevant. His political party is Labour's party. He was the representative of Labour Party. He was there as the prime minister of Great Britain, and now he has finally tendered his resignation, and the entire process would be completed by September, and then his next successor will come into picture, right? Now he also participated in the G7 summit, and recently everything was going great. And post COVID, some strong growth in the GDP. But finally, he has to resign from the office. So there is nothing permanent when it comes to politics. And the primary example is Mr. Keir Starmer, who announced his resignation from the 10 Downing Street, which is a residential place of the Prime Minister of Great Britain. Right now, the next important development. So now finally the negotiations have started. The first round of negotiations took place in Geneva, Switzerland, and a lot of important outcomes, or a lot of important development have taken place in the same context. And today we'll be solving a test as well. As promised, today we will solve 10 or 12 more questions on the Shanti Act 2025, and tomorrow we will have a quiz on one, again, a very important topic, and it is about uh, VBG Ramji. Tomorrow we'll solve a quiz on VBG Ramji, and today we will solve a quiz on Shanti Act 2025. But again, coming back to the important point. So, what are the important observations that were, being made, or what are the important outcomes of this particular war? Particular negotiation. So, the first major outcome is that Iran will allow inspection of its nuclear facilities by IAEA. And what is IAEA? Everyone knows, International Atomic Energy Agency, which is a UN watchdog when it comes to nuclear infrastructure. So, earlier this year, when this war started, a lot of negotiation or a lot of attention was given to the Iran's nuclear program, and finally they have said that we will allow International Atomic Energy Agency to conduct a proper inspection of our all nuclear facilities. So this is the first demand of the United States of America, which was promptly accepted by the officials of Iran. Now moving on to the second important point, or the second important outcome. United States of America will allow Iran to sell its crude oil by lifting primary and secondary sanctions. So this is again another important development. It is good for Iran that they will have more money now to develop the entire infrastructure which was damaged during this particular conflict, which started on 28th of February 2026. Now this particular analysis session is purely for the students who are preparing for CLAT, AILET, and other law entrance tests. This is not for the students who are preparing for Union Public Service Commission's civil services examination, right? So we will keep ourselves very limited to the information which might be relevant for the CLAT and other law entrance tests, right? So the third important development, and this is also relevant, that you know uh, United States of America will defreeze assets worth 24 billion US dollars, and Iran will eventually buy a lot of agriculture produces from United States of America by using these 24 billion US dollars. So these are the important highlights of the recent round of negotiations which took place in Geneva, Switzerland. But there is one important point which actually tells you the dominance of Iran in these negotiations, that they avoided a handshake with Mr. JD Vance, who is leading these negotiations on the behalf of United States of America, right? So these are the few points related to the recent round of negotiations, and please be very hopeful about it. Let's pray that in next 60 days, Iran and United States of America will finalize a deal, because eventually, agar Iran peace deal finalize nahi karta, it will shut down the Strait of Hormuz again, and eventually it will increase the prices of the global crude oil, right? So uska impact global economy pe padega. All those things we have already discussed a lot. So, and finally, the statement has been asserted by both the countries that there is some positive development. Both countries are very hopeful that they will finalize a deal within next 60 days. And Qatar, and remember this, Qatar and Pakistan have played a very important role. They have they came out as great mediators when it comes to this particular conflict, right? I mean, I know we have our own problems with Pakistan, but given this particular conflict, Pakistan eventually played a role to stop this conflict. Now, moving on to the next point. Again, all these are political news items, so we will not discuss these political news items. And the Supreme Court of India has recently uh, nominated a few judges from the district judiciary to be elevated to the हाई कोर्ट ऑफ हिमाचल प्रदेश. तो उसमें जब एलिवेशन के लिए वो नाम रिकमेंड किए थे, उसके अगेंस्ट एक लेटर लिखा गया टू द चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, जस्टिस सूर्यकांत, कि इन लोगों का नॉमिनेशन या इन लोगों का अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए. बट फाइनली the court has observations that these recommendations are absolutely fine and there is nothing wrong about it. Now let's talk about the next important point that we have to discuss, and it is about Mulla Periyar Dam. So let's start our discussion now. Let's start our discussion about the मुल्ला पेरियार डैम. So मुल्ला पेरियार डैम बहुत इसका रेलेवेंस है. इसके दो रीजन है मुल्ला पेरियार डैम के. अब मुल्ला पेरियार डैम की हम जब भी बात करते हैं, तो इसमें सबसे बड़ा जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आता है वो ये आता है दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर डैम इज इन केरला, राइट? मुल्ला पेरियार डैम इज इन केरला, बट it is managed by Tamil Nadu, right? So let's start with our discussion now. Mulla Periyar Dam. The dam is in Kerala, but it is managed by Tamil Nadu. And students, when it comes to different वाटर प्रोजेक्ट्स इंडिया में, अभी हम लोगों ने कुछ टाइम पहले कावेरी वाटर डिस्प्यूट के बारे में पढ़ा, वेयर तमिलनाडु, द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ तमिलनाडु पास्ड अ रेजोल्यूशन टू अगेंस्ट दिस पर्टिकुलर डैम प्रोजेक्ट जो कावेरी रिवर के ऊपर बन रहा था. अब इसके बाद आप लोग को ये याद रखना है दैट मुल्ला पेरियार डैम इज ऑन पेरियार रिवर, which is the longest river of Kerala. And students, it is a 127-year-old dam. It's a 127-year-old dam. अब 127-year-old डैम है तो इसका फिर द सेफ्टी ऑफ डैम इज एक्सट्रीमली रेलेवेंट, क्योंकि इसके डाउन शोर पे या जहां पर ये फ्लो करता है उसको बेसिकली उसमें मिलियंस ऑफ सिटीजन्स आर रिसाइडिंग, तो इस वजह से इसकी सेफ्टी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती है. नाउ सो द पॉइंट दैट वी हैव टू डिस्कस हियर इज, अब इसमें एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट और है कि जब ये मुल्ला पेरियार डैम इज फुल्ली फिल्ड तो इसमें कितना वाटर अलाउ किया जाएगा, 152 feet. When the reservoir is fully filled, it will have, or it will carry water up to 152 feet, right? तो ये नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आपको ये भी याद रखना है. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. अब लेटेस्ट इशू क्या है, भाई इसको लेकर के, और तमिलनाडु मैनेज करता है ये तो हमें पता है, केरला में ये भी पता है, पेरियार रिवर के ऊपर है ये भी पता है, पेरियार रिवर इज द लॉन्गेस्ट रिवर ऑफ केरला ये भी पता है. नाउ व्हेन दिस पर्टिकुलर डैम वाज कंस्ट्रक्टेड, तमिलनाडु ने इस पर्टिकुलर डैम को 999 ईयर्स के लिए लीज पे लिया था, राइट? सो दीज आर द सर्टेन फैक्ट्स रिलेटेड टू मुल्ला पेरियार डैम. इसको एक बार आप प्लीज देख लीजिए, देन वी कैन मूव टू द प्रोसीड टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. आप इसे एक बार प्लीज सारे पॉइंट्स को लिख लीजिए, बिकॉज ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स आर एक्सट्रीमली रेलेवेंट फॉर योर एग्जामिनेशन. देन वी कैन मूव टू द देन वी कैन प्रोसीड टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. And once you have written all those points, just let me know in the chat box so that we can proceed to the next point. Abhi latest development kya, then we'll discuss all those latest development. Right, so I guess we can proceed now. So abhi kya hai कि recently a dam safety evolution committee was constituted. DSEC. Now the main objective of this dam safety evolution committee was to check the safety of Mulla Periyar dam. ठीक है. Now the next important point is, so the government of Kerala nominated a member in this dam safety evaluation committee. अब रिसेंटली क्या हुआ है कि डैम सेफ्टी इवैल्यूएशन कमेटी जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूट की गई थी, इसमें जो केरला गवर्नमेंट ने अपना मेंबर नॉमिनेट किया था, दिस पर्टिकुलर मेंबर हैज बीन removed, and when this particular member was removed, the entire dispute arose again. So now moving on to the next important point related to Mulla Periyar Dam and the safety of Mulla Periyar Dam. So now so Kerala MPs from both the Congress and the left have reached out to the union government raising concerns over its unilateral decision to remove Kerala's representative T.K. Shivaranjan from a 5-member comprehensive dam safety evaluation committee formed to assess the safety of the Mulla Periyar Dam without consulting the state government. So this is the main issue, why this particular nomination or why this particular removal is getting so much of attention from the government of Kerala or the MPs of Kerala, because this nominated member was removed without taking the prior approval or without consulting the state government. Now the dam is in Kerala. It is on the longest river of the Kerala. So the objection raised by these MPs from Kerala is very obvious, because these are the stakeholders. अगर आपने stakeholder consultation के बिना ही उनके nominated member को remove किया, then you have to take the accountability and the responsibility of the same. So in that particular context, this entire issue related to the Mulla Periyar Dam becomes extremely relevant. These are the points related to Mulla Periyar Dam which you should know. These are the points. And recently a dam safety evaluation committee was constituted, and a member from the Kerala government was nominated, but this particular member was removed without taking the prior approval or without prior consultation of the Kerala government. Now अभी अगर आपको बहुत remote information, कुछ लोगों को होता है fact collect करने का बहुत शौक होता है, so if you are that kind of individual, then there is one more information which you can remember. This particular committee was constituted under the national dam safety national dam safety authority 2021. So this national dam safety authority constituted a dam safety evaluation committee जिसमें total कितने members थे? 5 members थे. ठीक है, अब हमें पूरा इशू पता चल गया. इसके अलावा आपको इस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट में आई डोंट थिंक सो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर एनी इन्फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. दीज आर द ओनली रेलेवेंट पॉइंट्स व्हिच यू शुड रिमेंबर एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. नाउ गोइंग फॉरवर्ड वी हैव अदर इंपॉर्टेंट topics to discuss as well. Now again, उड़ीसा ने कटक का नाम बदल करके अब कटाका कर दिया है. इट्स कटाका नाउ. Cuttack is a very important city in Odisha, and they have finally decided to change their name from Cuttack to Kataka. So this is again a very important development. अभी केरला का नाम बदल करके केरलम किया गया, कटक का नाम बदल करके कटाका किया गया. So these are the two important points. Now recently the National Security Advisor of our country, Mr. Ajit Doval, our National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, hosted a summit of National Security Advisors of BRICS countries. Now we know this, students, that in 2026 India is hosting the BRICS summit, और जितनी भी parallel meetings होती हैं, जितनी भी अलग अलग ministries और अलग अलग domains की meeting होती हैं, all these meetings would be hosted by India only. अभी last month हम लोगों ने देखा that India hosted the BRICS foreign ministers meeting, उसके बाद agriculture ministers का meeting था, और अभी national security advisor का meeting था. This particular meeting was chaired by the national security advisor of our country, Mr. Ajit Doval. Now this particular summit took place in New Delhi. This particular summit took place in New Delhi between 22nd to 23rd of June 2026, and a lot of important development taken place. Now this particular meeting was centered around the theme क्या था? Non traditional security challenges confronting the world today. This was the theme, non-traditional security challenges confronting the world today. This was the central theme around which this National Security Advisors meeting of the BRICS member nations was centered around. Now moving on to the next important development, we know the impact of West Asian conflict. And Iran is also a member of this particular bloc. Russia is also a member of this particular bloc. China is also a member of this particular bloc. Brazil is also a member of this particular bloc. And we are also a member of this particular bloc. And we are one of the founding members of BRICS, right? So now the point which we have to understand here is the point that we have to understand here is that United States of America never liked BRICS as a block, BRICS as a group. They always felt that BRICS was created to counter the dominance of United States of America and counter the dominance of dollar in the international market, right? So now this year India is hosting a lot of summits of BRICS. प्राइमरी जो समिट्स है लीडर्स की समिट है वो तो हम होस्ट कर ही रहे हैं, उसके अलावा जितने भी अलग अलग पैरेलल मिनिस्ट्रीज की मीटिंग्स हैं वो भी इंडिया होस्ट करेगा. अब लेटेस्ट डेवलपमेंट यही है कि हमें जो मेंबर कंट्रीज हैं उनको म्यूचुअली वी हैव टू लुक आफ्टर द सिक्योरिटी ऑफ ईच अदर एंड वी हैव टू स्टैंड वेरी फर्म. Now, this is actually very important for our future targets because we know India has a very futuristic target to export defense equipments worth rupees 50,000 crores by 2029. This is a very aspirational target set by India that we want to, export defense equipments worth 50,000 crore rupees by the year 2029. And in May 2000, in last financial year, India has produced defense equipments worth approximately 1.78 lakh crore rupees. अब recent development क्या है? अब recent development में इस पूरे वेस्ट एशियन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में इंडिया का एक बेनिफिट क्या हुआ है? व्हाट इज द वन प्राइमरी बेनिफिट ऑफ इंडिया? अब लास्ट ईयर जब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हुआ था, लास्ट ईयर ड्यूरिंग ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, इंडिया शोकेस्ड a lot of indigenously built डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट्स. अब बहुत अच्छे से मार्केटिंग होगी उस टाइम पर क्योंकि हमने पाकिस्तान को तो बहुत अच्छी तरीके से पाकिस्तान के जो एयर साइट्स और मिलिट्री बेसिस है उनको हमने बहुत अच्छे से डिस्ट्रॉय किया. सो दैट एक्टेड एज अ मार्केटिंग फॉर द एंटायर डिफेंस मेड इन इंडिया डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट. अब वेस्ट एशिया में जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ, नाउ वी नो दीज मिडिल ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज दे आर कैश रिच कंट्रीज क्योंकि ये बहुत ऑयल प्रोड्यूस करते हैं और ऑयल का जो उसके बदले में जो इनको कैश मिलता है, सो दे हैव अ लॉट ऑफ कैश रिजर्व, राइट? But they don't have a very strong defense infrastructure. So now these Middle Eastern countries are willing to invest a lot of money in strengthening their defense infrastructure. So India can become a very good platform, or India, okay, so India can become a good platform or a good friend of these Middle Eastern countries because we have a lot of equipments which can be easily exported to these Middle Eastern countries, right? So now in the next line of negotiations or in the next line of development, the important point is that Indian government is all set to sell BrahMos missile system and Akshatir air defense unit. Akshatir air defense unit is a made in India defense infrastructure, right? So please use some English words. I'm using a lot of English words, right? I'm using a lot of English words. There is no problem with that. I'll use a lot of English words. There is no problem with that at all, right? So Akshatir is a made in India air defense system. It is just like S-400 defense system which we import from Russia, right? So now India is all about to sell these particular defense products to United Arab of Emirates. I've got your point. You don't have to uh, assert it very formally, right? I have already understood your point. I'll use a lot of words of English. Now we can proceed. I guess we can proceed now. So this is again a very important development for India, and this is how West Asian conflict has benefited India. We will sell a lot of defense equipments to these Middle Eastern countries and all these countries which have a lot of cash, but they don't have a very strong defense infrastructure, right? Whether it is Vietnam or South Korea or these Middle Eastern countries, right? Now rebels remove Mamta as Trinamool chairperson. So now I feel sad for Mamta Banerjee, and the reason is very simple. The reason is very simple. And what is the reason? What is the reason why I feel sad for Mamta Banerjee? So Mamta Banerjee at this point of time was the chairperson of Trinamool Congress. And we know this, that in the recent assembly elections, she has to, face a very disastrous defeat. And Bharatiya Janata Party basically obliterated Trinamool Congress in West Bengal. And they came in power for the first time in West Bengal. And after Mamta Banerjee lost her election from Bhawanipur seat, and also Trinamool Congress, witnessed some drastic changes in the outcome of the result. After that, recently 20 member of parliament from Trinamool Congress defected, and they merged with a political party which is supporting National Democratic Alliance. So that was the first blow, that she straight away lost 20 MPs. Now at the state level, she has approximately 79 MLAs, and out of those 79 MLAs, 65 MLAs have formed a different, or a, you know a different faction. They now call themselves as the real Trinamool Congress. Now, ideologically, politically, it is legally, it is all very correct, but it tells you that how quickly things change in the politics. And all these rebel MLAs have finally removed Mamta Banerjee as the chairperson of the Trinamool Congress. The person who was the founder of Trinamool Congress is no more the chairperson of the same political party, and she has not resigned. She has been removed by its own members, her own members, right? So this tells you that how things changed so quickly. And finally, Operation Tiger is successful in Maharashtra, where 6 out of 9 MPs from Shiv Sena Uddhav Bala Sahab Thackeray faction have joined National Democratic Alliance. So now this is again a very positive news for uh, sir, why we study daily Hindu news? Please, I'll tell you at the end of the class. You just ask me this particular question at the end of the class, and I will tell you in detail, right? That why we read the daily Hindu newspaper, why we read is daily, right? So this Operation Tiger is successful. So now this is how Bharatiya Janata Party is, or National Democratic Alliance is increasing its strength in Lok Sabha. In the last 10 days, they have increased 26 MPs in Lok Sabha, right? So that's how Bharatiya Janata Party is working tirelessly towards, 131st constitutional amendment bill 2026 and the delimitation bill 2026. क्योंकि जब when this particular bill was introduced on 16th of April 2026 in the Parliament of India, it could not pass the litmus test of the House, because at that particular of time, Bharatiya Janata Party doesn't have a required majority of two-third in the House. So now they are moving ahead towards that magical number. Now moving on to the next important development. Now, somebody has just asked that why we read the Hindu newspaper daily. So it's not about which newspaper you are reading. It can be the Hindu or the Indian Express. We read the newspaper daily. We read newspaper daily because of two, three, four, five multiple reasons. The first one is it will eventually increase your reading speed. Reading speed is sine qua non for CLAT examination, because if you have a poor reading speed, you will not be able to read 120 questions in 120 minutes. And because CLAT is a comprehension based exam, it's a passage based exam, you will get 24 passages, and you have to read those 24 passages and solve those 120 questions in 120 minutes. So you need to have a very outstanding reading come comprehension speed. The second one is newspaper is the only source which will actually improve your English or verbal aptitude, which will improve your logical reasoning as well, because it will eventually or overall develop your aptitude. It will improve your legal reasoning, and it will eventually contribute in the current affairs and GK preparation. So newspaper is that source that by reading one document, you are actually preparing your four subjects. That's why reading newspaper every day is very important. Now you don't have to read each and every news item, and you don't have to spend like 90 or 95 minutes every day on the newspaper. Now again, a very important achievement or a very important development for our legal fraternity, that Mr. Tushar Mehta has been reappointed as the Solicitor General of India for another period of 3 years. He has a lot of money. Last year he purchased two bungalows worth over 150 crores. So he has a lot of money. And finally, his tenure has been extended for another 3 years. And this same notification was issued by Department of Personnel and Training, right? So, and you will see when you will see any kind of any video from the Supreme Court of India, you will see most of the time you will see Mr. Tushar Mehta is representing the government of India, right? So please remember his name. He is the Solicitor General of India, and his tenure has been extended for another 3 years. Now now what is that one relevant fact about this राखी गढ़ी के बारे में कोई मुझे एक important fact बता सकता है? So Rakhi Garhi is a site. It's a site of Harappan. It's an Harappan site. It's an Harappan site. of Indus Valley civilization, of Indus Valley civilization, located in Haryana, and it is one of the oldest site of Indus Valley civilization. अब स्टैटिक के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ये सारी रेलेवेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन आपका, ये सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन आपके लिए रेलेवेंट हो सकती है. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. नाउ हु डिस्कवर्ड राखीगढ़ी साइट? So the Rakhigadi site was discovered by the Archaeological Survey of India. It was discovered by Archaeological Survey of India, and it was documented in 1960. It was documented in 1963. So finally, the Archaeological Survey of India has, you know, handed over all the human skeletons of the राखीगढ़ी साइट, जितने भी इनके पास में ह्यूमन स्केलेटन्स थे राखीगढ़ी साइट से, दे हैव हैंडेड ओवर दीज ह्यूमन स्केलेटन्स टू एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, राइट. एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया को इन्होंने सारे जो ह्यूमन स्केलेटन्स थे उनको हैंड ओवर कर दिया. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द एडिटोरियल सेक्शन ऑफ टुडेज न्यूज़पेपर. So the first one is the challenge of India's digital sovereignty, and the second one is, and the second editorial that we have to read in today's newspaper is the world that China desires and is shaping. Right. So after Donald Trump became the president of United States of America, now China is trying to position itself as a global superpower and a country which can help a lot of countries in the international fraternity. I hope you have understood that why we should read the newspaper every day. If you have, then please do let me know in the chat box. Now coming back to the important point, or coming back to the first important editorial that we have to discuss. Now, what do we understand by this particular phrase, digital sovereignty? So digital sovereignty doesn't mean that you have adopted digital infrastructure in almost every domain of your country. It's also about production of digital equipments that you are using. Now, what is the problem with not producing these digital equipments? Let's take one example of the CCTV cameras. CCTV का full form याद रखिएगा. Now, most of us are aware about the abbreviation CCTV, but full form किसी को नहीं पता होता है. So the full form is closed circuit television. Now, the primary example cited by the author of this article, Mr. Manish Verma and Sathanu R. Nair, is the example of CCTV cameras. And why this example of CCTV cameras was cited by these two authors? So basically, you will see CCTV cameras at every place. Now we don't manufacture these. Most of these CCTV cameras are not manufactured in India. Now, what is that one drawback with the digital equipments? What is that one drawback, or it's a major loophole in every digital equipment? So the major loophole is that these digital equipments are easy to hack. अब अभी रिसेंट में बहुत सारे ऐसे एग्जांपल्स हैं जहां पे इजराइल ने हमास और जितने भी हेजबोल्ला के टॉप लीडरशिप थी, टू एलिमिनेट दोज लीडरशिप और टू एलिमिनेट द टॉप लीडर्स ऑफ हेजबोल्ला एंड हमास, उन्होंने क्या किया? दे हैक द सीसीटीवी cameras so that they can have the direct access of the footage, and they monitored each and every movement of those leaders, and eventually they identified their exact location, and eventually they eliminated all those individuals. So now we don't have to go into the legality of the things done by the government of Israel, by the Israeli Defense Forces, but the point that we have to understand that these digital equipments are so vulnerable that it can actually damage the privacy, and it can actually transfer the control of administration from the stakeholder to some other country. Now, moving on to the next point. In the modern world, digital infrastructure is a track on which commerce, government, and national security run. Seen in this context, recent reports of Indian closed circuit television networks being compromised by hostile entities to gain access to information of India's strategic defense assets, April 2026, along with an incident in July 2025, in which Naira Energy was abruptly denied access to its corporate email, collaboration tools, and cloud storage data, raised serious concerns about the future of India's digital and technological sovereignty. While the CCTV security breach was attributed to the use of the Chinese software platform Easy Cloud in the CCTV equipment, the Naira episode was a result of Microsoft Corporation's unilateral enforcement of EU sanctions against Naira Energy due to the stake held in it by the Russian energy giant Rosneft. Now, this is something that we have to understand, that when it comes to digital infrastructure, you don't have to be physically present there to create the or to cause the actual damage. Right, you don't have to be physically present somewhere. You just hack the platform from some thousands and thousands of kilometers away, and you can create the actual damage. Now you look all the cases of cyber crimes that are happening in India. They will hack your mobile phone, they will hack your and they will have access to your private photos, and then they will blackmail the individual, right? So the point that we have to understand here is to ensure India's digital sovereignty. We need to have a very concrete and a very strong digital infrastructure, and in the aspect of the same, we need to have a very strong cloud facilities. We need to have a very you know strong manufacturing sector, so that we don't have to rely on the equipments manufactured by some other countries or the software provided to by some other countries, right? So this is entirely about that, and to achieve that we have to invest a lot of money in the research and development infrastructure. India R&D में उतना invest अभी नहीं कर रहा है. China is investing a lot of money in the research and development infrastructure. That's why they have one of the strongest and the quickest manufacturing uh, you know chain in the world. They have one of the strongest manufacturing units in the world, and the reason is because they have invested a lot of money in the research and development infrastructure of their country, the world that China desires and is shaping. So recently, अब इसमें भी you can give credit to Donald Trump, that how Donald Trump has depicted, or how Donald Trump has reduced the dominance of United States of America by withdrawing from multiple international organizations. Donald Trump के president बनने के बाद he has withdrawn from more than 80-90 international organizations. Now, when there are two individuals or three individuals, let's say the first one is the most powerful, the second one is the second powerful, and the third one is the third powerful. So the very moment when the most powerful country leave any particular organization, second most powerful country automatically takes charge of that particular organization. So that way China has got access to a lot of international organizations, and now it is dominating those international organizations. Now, since Donald Trump became the president of United States of America, he has started multiple wars, like a war in Iran, a war might be in Cuba, capturing the elected president of Vietnam. Sorry, capturing the elected president of Venezuela, Mr. Nicolas Maduro, under Operation Absolute Resolve, imposing unilateral tariffs on multiple nations, then initiating investigation against 54 countries including India for violating section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. Now these particular actions or the steps taken by Donald Trump are not in good faith. Eventually they will reduce the dominance of United States of America in the global framework, and also a lot of countries will not be in a position where they can trust United States of America. United States of America gave a lot of efforts to take the control of Greenland, but taking control of Greenland would have meant the end of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So a lot of pressure was there on Donald Trump. That's why he taken a step back, right? And he cited multiple reasons that why he need Greenland, but all those reasons were frivolous. Those reasons were not tenable and sustainable. So at the same time, how China is positioning itself in the global governance, that is one important aspect. Now the Chinese white paper, which was recently presented by the government of China, They are basically saying that the current world is actually run through or is operated by the international laws. It is not a jungle. We are not living in some you know society 1,000 or 2,000 years back where we don't have written or codified laws. We have codified laws. There is no law of jungle. And if United States of America keeps on undermining the international laws, you are not following what is there in the United Nations. You are violating Article 2, Clause 4 of the UN Charter. You are violating World Trade Organization's position. You are violating UN clause, United Nations Convention on the Law of the High Seas. You are violating every kind of existing international laws. And so how you could expect the entire world to follow those laws which you are violating, and you are also punishing every other member countries for violating the same laws which you have violated. So this is now how the international framework works, right? Now in the text and the context section, we don't have to discuss this article at all. It is about Tamil Nadu's fiscal autonomy. And recently the newly elected Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Joseph Vijay, met the Prime Minister of our country, the longest serving elected Prime Minister of our country, Mr. Narendra Modi. Nothing substantial out of this. This article is extremely non-relevant for your examination. The reason why I'm saying this, because it is a state-specific article. It does not have an impact on entire country. So that's why you can avoid this particular article. क्योंकि हमें state-specific news सिर्फ उन्हीं को cover करना रहता है जिनका एक पूरे इंडिया पर impact हो, अदर और या उन्हें बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में डिस्कस किया गया हो. Now moving on to the next point. So now this is a good news for India. The founder of CRED, Mr. Kunal Shah, has been appointed as the CEO of WhatsApp. Meta has invested $900 million in his startup CRED, and now the total valuation of his startup is approximately $6 billion. And Meta has decided to invest $900 million in his startup, and he has stepped down from all the posts. जो भी क्रेड में इनके पास में पोस्ट थी उन्होंने सबसे स्टेप डाउन कर दिया. नाउ ही इज ओनली द शेयर होल्डर. Now he's only a shareholder in his startup cred, but he will lead WhatsApp. Now this is a big achievement for India because WhatsApp is a platform which is being used by approximately 3 billion users, and now an Indian citizen will lead this particular platform. So, and the announcement was made by the founder of Meta, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, and he has shown immense faith in Mr. Kunal Shah, and he has said that he is a person with a lot of zeal, and he has a very strong leadership. Now Ebola outbreak is uh, you know reaching new heights. Now there are 1,000 confirmed cases of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where 251 people have lost their lives till date. Now we have discussed a lot of things about Democratic Republic of Congo, that it was first identified in, I guess, 1976 near the Ebola river in Democratic Republic of Congo. That's why the nomenclature was given as Ebola. Now it has a fatality rate of approximately 90%. There are different variants of this particular virus, and there is no specific vaccine which could have been developed. Now recently the World Health Organization has declared this particular disease or this particular outbreak as a public health emergency of international concern. So this is about Ebola. Keir Starmer has resigned. We have already discussed it on page number 1, or on the front page. Now EU courts. Now this is again, so every country in the world is right now identifying those countries जिनके पास में rare earth minerals और magnets का बहुत strong hold है. Now Messi is the highest goal scorer in the World Cup history. He has now scored 18 goals, and yesterday he scored 2 goals, and now against Austria. So now the debate, who's better? It's always Ronaldo versus Messi. So now Messi is the highest World Cup scorer. So I guess थोड़ा सा अभी तो इस साल उन्होंने 2 मैच में 5 गोल ऑलरेडी कर दिए. ही इज द लीडिंग goal scorer in this year's World Cup as well. So now I guess this debate should take a back seat for a while. And this is all about this analysis. Now we'll come back to our quiz. Now this quiz is very important. This quiz is basically based upon a very important piece of legislation brought by the Union government in December 2025, and it is about It is about a very important piece of legislation which is known as Shanti Act 2025. So we'll discuss this particular news item in detail. We'll discuss this particular news in detail, that what are the different questions related to Shanti Act 2025 which might be relevant for your examination. And if you find this particular quiz relevant for your examination, then you can also visit yesterday's analysis session where we have solved 12 questions based upon World Wetland Day. Today we are solving 10 to 12 questions on Shanti Act 2025, and tomorrow we will solve 10 to 12 questions on the VBG Ramji Act, right? So now this has been a pattern. We have solved more than I guess 300 questions in last 40 days. In last I guess 40 sessions, we have solved approximately 320 to 330 questions, right? So you have to ensure that you solve these questions every day, so that you can have a very comprehensive revision of all these topics without uh, feeling that immense pressure. मैं आप लोगों को the only reason why I tell you these topics a day before, so that you can come prepared. जब भी हमें क्विज सॉल्व करें तो आप प्रिपेयर्ड होकर के आए, आप इन टॉपिक्स को अच्छे से सॉल्व कर सकें. दैट इज द मेन रीजन व्हाई आई टेल यू एवरी डे दैट व्हाई यू हैव टू यू नो read these topics, or why you should solve these quizzes, why you should solve this quiz. Now today we will have a session at 5:30 or 6 in the evening, where we will discuss three important articles from the Indian Express. बिटवीन जो भी इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल्स थे 15 से लेकर के 20th ऑफ जून 2026 के बीच के, उन्हें हम डिस्कस करेंगे. सो आप उसे भी आप उसको आज भी हमें क्लोजली थोड़ा सा फॉलो कर लेना. नाउ द रिसेंटली इनैक्टेड सस्टेनेबल हार्नेसिंग एंड एडवांसमेंट ऑफ न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी फॉर ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग इंडिया एक्ट. नाउ दिस abbreviation is extremely relevant for your examination. What is the full form of Shanti? Shanti stands for Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India. 2025 has repealed which of the following pairs of legislations? So, Shanti Act 2025 has opened India's nuclear energy sector for the private players, and to ensure this particular thing, it has repealed two important legislations. Now, which are these two important pieces of legislations? Answer the question in the comment section. It will Sanjeev Gautam, it would come in the month of August में आएगा ये, ठीक है सर. क्लैट फॉर्म नोटिफिकेशन कब आएगी? अगस्त में आएगा, राइट? सो विच इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन फॉर क्वेश्चन नंबर 1? which pair of legislations have been replaced by Shanti Act 2025? So the option number 1 is the Atomic Energy Act 1948 and the Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act 2010. The second option that we have with us is the Atomic Energy Act 1962 and the Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act 2010. Students, remember this. This is also known as CLND, Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act 2010. The third option is the Atomic Energy Act 1962 and the Public Liability Insurance Act 1991. And option number 4 is the Atomic Energy Act of 1948 and the Environment Protection Act of 1986. Which is the correct option for question number 1? Anyone who would like to answer question number 1? What is the correct option for question number 1? Which pair of legislation would be replaced by Shanti Act 2025? You have 4 options. I have told you what are the different options which are available for question number 1. You have to tell me the exact option for question number 1. So for question number 1, students, the correct option is option B. Actually, option B is correct for question number 1. Why I am saying this option B is correct for question number 1, students? Because of one specific reason. The Atomic Energy Act is fine. In option way, the Atomic Energy Act is fine, but the Atomic Energy Act came into existence in 1962. It is not 1948, it is 1962. So for question number 1, students, the correct option is option B. Shanti Act 2025 replaced the Atomic Energy Act of 1962 and the Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act of 2010. Now we'll move to question number 2. Under the graded civil liability framework introduced by the Shanti Act 2025, what is the maximum operator liability cap fixed specifically for small modular reactors? Now we know this कि there are different categories जहाँ पर ये damages fixed किए गए. आपको ये बताना है small modular reactors, and what are these small modular reactors? जिनका energy production capacity is up to 300 megawatt, and by 2033 India will have 5 of these small modular reactors. आपको ये बताना है कि in the case of small modular reactor जो maximum operator liability cap fix किया गया वो कितना है? ऑप्शन ए 100 crore, ऑप्शन बी 500 crore, ऑप्शन सी 1500 crore, or option D 3000 crore? Which is the correct option for question number 2? For small modular reactors, what is the maximum operator liability cap fixed by the union government? So for small modular reactor students, the current cap which has been fixed by the union government is 100 crore. Now for medium plants, the cost, the maximum for medium plants, it is 1500 crore. मीडियम प्लांट्स के लिए जो मैक्सिमम ऑपरेटर लाइबिलिटी का कैप है दैट इज 1500 करोड़. एंड फॉर लार्ज operators, the liability cap has been fixed at 3000 crore rupees, 100 crore, 1500 crore, and 3000 crore. It is for the small modular reactors, medium plants, and large operators. Now we'll move to question number 3. For large scale power plants, what is the maximum operator liability set under the provisions of the Shanti Act 2025? So we have already discussed the answer of question number 3. For question number 3 students, the correct option is option 3. मैक्सिमम लाइबिलिटी जो लार्ज पावर प्लांट्स के लिए फिक्स की गई है, दैट लाइबिलिटी हैज बीन फिक्स्ड एट 3000 करोड़ रुपीज. सो फॉर क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 स्टूडेंट्स, द करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज ऑप्शन डी. नाउ विल मूव टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. According to the Shanti Act 2025, which existing regulatory body has been granted full statutory status and made directly accountable, answerable to the Parliament of India? Which regulatory body has been granted full statutory status and made directly accountable, answerable to the Parliament of India? Atomic Energy Commission, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, or Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited? What is the correct option for question number 4? So this Shanti Act 2025 has given a statutory status to the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, and it is directly responsible, or it is directly answerable to the Parliament of India. Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, AERB, has been given a statutory status by Shanti Act 2025, and it is directly accountable. It is directly accountable or answerable to the Parliament of India. So for question number 4 students, the correct option is option C. Now we'll move to question number 5. Under the newly established framework, which judicial or administrative authority will serve as the appellate body to hear further appeal against the decision of the Atomic Energy Redressal Advisory Council? You have 4 options: Supreme Court of India, Appellate Tribunal for Electricity, National Green Tribunal, or Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. Which is the correct option for question number 5? तो दी अपील विल बी डायरेक्टली हर्ड बाय अपील जो भी होगी उसको कौन सुनेगा? एपेलेट ट्रिब्यूनल फॉर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, एप्टेल. एप्टेल विल डायरेक्टली heard or will try or will entertain the appeal. Now question number 6. Under Shanti Act 2025, the total liability for a nuclear accident, including both the operator's cap and the central government's contribution, is capped globally at how many special drawing rights? 150 million special drawing rights, 200 million SDR, 300 million SDR, or 500 million SDR? What is the total cap which has been fixed under Shanti Act 2025? Question number 6. Anyone who would like to answer question number 6? So we know this in a case of large nuclear power plant, maximum operator की जो liability है उसको fix किया गया है at rupees 3000 crore rupees. Now you have to tell me जो government का भी इसमें कुछ share है. Now maximum अगर large nuclear power plant में there is an accident, then the operator is liable to pay 3000 crore rupees. Now it is quite possible that the damages may exceed 3000 crore rupees. So in that case, the government of India will come into picture, and the government of India will contribute another 900 crore rupees. तो स्पेशल ड्राइंग राइट्स टोटल कितना है? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और ऑपरेटर का लाइबिलिटी मिलाकर के इट्स 300 million स्पेशल ड्राइंग राइट्स, which translates into approximately 3900 crore rupees. 3000 for the operator and 900 crore for the government. Now we'll move to question number 7. The Union Budget 2025-26 announced the launching of the Nuclear Energy Mission to drive the design, development, and deployment of small modular reactors. What total financial allocation was made for this mission? For question number 7, students, you have to tell me that in the budget for financial year 2026-27, the government of India has allocated how much money for the development of small modular reactors? Option A 10,000 crore rupees, option B 15,000 crore rupees, option C 18,000 crore rupees, and option D 20,000 crore rupees. Which is the correct option for question number 7? The financial allocation in the budget of 2025-26. न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी मिशन लॉन्च किया था, उसके बाद हम लोगों ने कितना बजट एलोकेट किया स्मॉल मॉड्यूलर रिएक्टर्स के लिए? सो द फाइनेंशियल एलोकेशन इज ऑफ 20,000 crore rupees. The financial allocation is of 20,000 crore rupees. Now we'll move to question number 8. As part of its clean energy roadmap, India has set an operational target to deploy at least how many indigenously designed small modular reactors by the year 2033? 3, 5, 7 और 10? हमने 2033 तक कितने स्मॉल मॉड्यूलर रिएक्टर्स डेवलप करने का डिसाइड किया? तो इंडिया हैज डिसाइडेड दैट बाय 2033 इट विल डिप्लॉय 5 small modular reactors. It will deploy 5 small modular reactors. So for question number 8, students, the correct option is B. India will have 5 operational small modular reactors by 2033. The Bhabha Atomic Research Center is leading the indigenous development of next generation reactors. What is the specific power capacity of Bharat small modular reactors currently being designed? Now, please remember this. Bharat small modular reactor is indigenously built small modular reactor, indigenously designed small modular reactor developed by Bhabha Atomic Research Center. What is the current capacity? 55 megawatt electricity, 100 megawatt of electricity, 200 megawatt of electricity, or 300 megawatt of electricity. Question number 9. So it is quite obvious Bharat small modular reactor 200 will have a capacity of 200 megawatt of electricity. So for question number 9, students, the correct option is option C. Now we'll move to question number 10. In a major milestone, now this is our latest development. It is the current news. It is the latest development. It is from the April 2026. In a major milestone for India's three-stage nuclear power program, which indigenously designed and built nuclear platform successfully attained its first criticality on April 6, 2026. Now, when this particular power plant achieved the status of criticality, the chief of International Atomic Energy Agency also congratulated India. Prototype fast breeder reactor at Kalapakam, pressurized heavy water reactor at Narora, Kundakulam Nuclear Power Plant Unit 3, Bharat Small Modular Reactor 3 at uh, Bombay. So which is the correct option for question number 10? So which particular power plant has achieved the status of criticality, first criticality on 6th April 2026? So it is prototype prototype fast breeder reactor PFBR at Kalapakkam. So for question number 10, students, the correct option is option A. Now we'll move to question number 11. As highlighted in the core text, what is India's long-term target for total installed nuclear power capacity by the year 2047? Again, a very important question. हमारा 2047 तक कितना न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करने का टारगेट है? Which is the correct option for question number 11? So India has a very futuristic target of producing 100 gigawatt of electricity through nuclear energy by 2047. 2047 में इंडिया को 100 years complete हो जाएंगे independence के, and by 2047 India wants to become a developed nation, and in order to become a developed nation, this particular target is very important because it will ensure uninterrupted energy supply. Now this is the last question. According to the text, the total financial requirement to achieve India's 100 gigawatt of nuclear capacity addition target by 2047 is estimated to be approximately how much? So this you know to achieve the target of 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy, India will require a lot of investment. India will need a lot of money. You have to tell me how much money India is required to have or to develop 100 gigawatt of electricity by 2047. So India will require approximately 200 billion US dollars, approximately 18 lakh crore rupees. और ये इन्वेस्टमेंट गवर्नमेंट का कर पाना बहुत मुश्किल है. दैट्स व्हाई इंडिया हैज ओपनड इट्स न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर for the private players, so that these private players can invest a lot of money. Tomorrow we will have a quiz on VBG राम जी. So please पढ़ करके आइएगा, रिवाइज करके आइएगा VBG राम जी को. रिसेंटली इसके रूल्स भी नोटिफाई कर दिए गए, ठीक है, कितना फाइनेंशियल एलोकेशन वगैरह किया गया बैकग्राउंड मनरेगा से कंपेयर करके. So this is all about today's analysis, guys. Thank you so much. In today's newspaper, the person who was asking about the highlight of today's newspaper, and everyone who's watching this video, please do like the video. First, read about the resignation of Cass Stammer. Then the first round of negotiations, जो अभी स्विट्जरलैंड में कंप्लीट हुई, दिस इज द सेकंड हेडलाइन. थर्ड हेडलाइन कुड बी दिस सीसीटीवी वाला जो पॉइंट था वो हम थोड़ा सा देख सकते हैं. इंटरनेशनल में कैल स्टैमर and the outbreak of Ebola, right? So these are the certain important news headlines from today's, and also appointment of Mr. Kunal Shah as the chief of WhatsApp, right? So this is all about today's analysis, guys. Thank you so much. If you like the this particular video, then do like the video and subscribe to our channel, and keep showing up at every day at 7:45 in the morning. We'll see you every day at 7:45, and we'll solve questions every day till we are having these sessions regularly. So make yourself available every day. We got your point. Your name is Karishma Chaudhary. You don't have to type it, all the way again and again, right? Please, you don't have to do that again and again. So this is all about today's analysis, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, just take a good care of yourself and people around you. Bye bye. Bye bye. And we'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Just take a good care of yourself. Bye, everyone. Bye. Goodbye.